Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hello, I'm Allie. This video is long overdue. This has been quite the year for me with my reading journey. I've read so much horror, so much female rage recently, horror movie books, and just so much different things. But I thought it was time to do a little vampire read. I have never read Carmilla by Sheridan. That's how you say it? Sheridan? I don't know. This is a copy from my library, so don't mind all the markings and stickers and everything else they stick on these. It's given Alanis Morissette, is it not? Also, my library only had the mega large print, so adjusting my eyes between this one and then my next reads it's been a time. But I sat down one afternoon and read both of these, and then I just didn't even film it. I didn't film anything for it. It was just a casual, I think Sunday. It was like a Sunday reset. I got some housework done, had some laundry going, lit a candle, snuggled up with a blanket on the couch, and just flew through both of these. So this is obviously the original, and this is, I think, known to be like the original vampire story, if I'm not mistaken, and then I think Dracula came. I absolutely love this. I ate it up. It's so haunting in a way. It kind of reminded me a little bit of The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. And this follows Laura, a 19-year-old daughter of an Englishman who lives in an isolated estate or whatever in the wilderness. And I definitely think that this girl seems younger than what she actually is. I am glad that she is titled 19 though, because of some of the elements in this. But yeah, it says, though she loves her widowed father dearly, she yearns for company her own age. And when the household takes in a young woman after a carriage accident, so there's a carriage accident, her dad goes up to these people and the woman is like, you know, she has to go do something. It's really strange, but she's like, can you just take my daughter for like, you know, the whole fucking summer, and then I'll come back and get her after the summer? And they're like, sure. So they take her in, and his daughter Laura is told to look after her, and they strike up a friendship, and it says, passionate in her affection, the strange and beautiful Carmilla entrances her companion, yet Laura harbors an undercurrent of disquiet, for their guest shares a face with an unearthly and terrifying childhood memory. It is so good. Such a classic horror, 5 stars. Definitely recommend this one, and like I said, I blew through it. It's so short. If you're looking for just like a horror novella, a vampire one, definitely check it out. It's very gothic too at the same time, and does really remind me of The Haunting of Hill House, which wasn't my all-time favorite read, but in a way that you had those gothic elements with strangers kind of like coming together in an isolated setting type of ordeal, and it was just beautifully done. I liked the writing of this one better. And then I read a retelling, a more of a modern take on Carmilla that is also a graphic novel, which is absolutely stunning. And this kind of has the same type of aspect as this book, so I don't really want to say too much because I don't want to spoil anything, but this is done in a new way. This follows, I don't remember her name, or their name, I'm sorry, I'm not sure what their pronouns are, but this follows a person, Athena. Okay, it doesn't really say their name that much throughout the book, so it just took me a minute. Athena, who is dating Morgan. I believe they're just girlfriends, and they're staying in the same like apartment together, and her girlfriend, I think, is like a doctor or a nurse, really busy. They live in the city, and Athena is kind of like, I think like she has like a background as like a social worker is kind of what I gathered from it, but more so like helping get people like off the street and like look out for people, missing people cases and stuff like that. And she's looking into a case, and that is when she meets Carmilla and takes her in, and automatically Morgan, her girlfriend, is just like, we don't know this person. You know, she needs to get out of here. One night is fine, but I told you, you have to stop doing that. We don't know these people. And one night turns into a week and then a month. You know, like she sticks around, and it's almost like there's something about her that's so alluring to Athena that she can't break that bond. And then it's just kind of like her downfall. It's such a good one too. I can't remember what I gave this on Goodreads. I think it was a 4 or 5 star as well. It was really good, and I loved the illustration, or the illustrations of this. So good. Absolutely amazing. I think I forgot what to say. Yeah, it says the first vampire. But yeah, definitely check it out. There is, I don't want to butcher anybody's names. I'm on a roll with that lately. So there you go. Anyways, after reading these, I was like, you know what? It is time. It is time to pick up some more vampire books. So that is what I'm doing in this video. I've been really wanting to reread Dowry of Blood. And I also have S.T. Gibson's newest as well. What is it called? An Education in Malice, I think. Just supposed to be like a little vampire-y. And I have some more. Nestlings by Nat Cassidy I've been really wanting to get to. I just have so many vampire books on my radar, on my TBR, that this is the video that I'm going to get to them and accomplish it. Little check-in, because I have not mentioned Nestlings yet to you guys. I'm currently doing a readathon, Survive the Night. I don't know if it's going to be up before this video or if this video is going to be up before it. There will be links if it is already up. But one of the prompts, it's a long story, check out that video, but you pretty much have to check into a location, and whatever location you check into, you have to choose a book for that location's prompt. So today is day 1. It is Friday the 13th, and I needed to really read Nestlings because it's due back at my library rather soon, and I'm afraid I'm not going to get to it. So I chose it for the archery field. So I checked into the archery field, and the prompt was to read a book that is like on your goals to, like, you know, reach your target or whatever. So it's kind of just like a bonus prompt to read what you need to read for whatever, whether you have reading goals for videos like me, or whether you have to get your book back to your library like me, you need to get a book done. So yeah, I chose that today so that I could get to Nestlings, and I've been reading it. I'm halfway through, or a little over halfway through. So I look like this because I am doing my skincare, because I'm a vampire, you guys. I have to really nourish my skin, take care of my skin. I have been using the L'Oreal Midnight collection. You can follow me on my beauty Instagram and TikTok. It's at @AllieBrand_MUA if you guys want to know more about like my skincare and stuff. I've been using this for like a week or 2 now. But I'm going to keep trying it, and then I'm going to give my thoughts on it for sure. And then I've just been trying to use up my Dr. Brandt Triple Antioxidant Eye Cream. I've enjoyed it. I don't think it's like going to be a favorite that I keep with, but I'm almost completely out of it. So I have at least enjoyed it. Yeah, I thought I would do my skincare and let you guys know what I'm thinking of my book so far, because I am over halfway through with it. And it's getting juicy, you guys. So this is giving major Rosemary Baby vibes. You have this couple, and I think I said her name wrong in the synopsis. I think I said Anna. Her name is Anna, and the guy's name is Reed, and they have a little girl who's like a year old, and her name is Charlie. We found out that years ago they had put their name, I don't know how all this works, but like some type of like apartment lottery thing, and they put their name in and it didn't happen for them, but now it did. And it's kind of like a bad timing for them, because after the birth of their baby, not only did Anna go through like postpartum depression, which triggered, if you guys have been around on my channel, I've talked about it. I was I really went through it after my second kid. Not to the extent of Anna. Hers was endangering of her child. She was found holding a knife over the cradle, so that it was a little intense. But not only did she go through that, but she also was like trying to avoid doing a C-section when she needed a C-section apparently, and like a really rare thing happened to her where now she's like in a wheelchair, and it's just kind of like she's had to learn how to do everything all over again. And she has like physical therapy and stuff that she does, and they're hoping that she won't always be in a wheelchair. But, you know, for now, this is her new normal that she's having to get used to. So now they get this apartment lottery thing, however that works. And they get to move into this like apartment that's like really high up, and it talks about how there's like a courtyard thing that you can like walk out on, and there's gargoyles, and I just think of like an apartment building in like Gotham City or something. But anyways, there's like creepy neighbors and stuff too, but they're like excited because their apartment they were living in was like really run down, and they had like a really hard time with it, and their neighbor Frank they keep referring to was a big weirdo. So they're like excited to get out, but she just has this uneasy feeling, and it's just like Rosemary's Baby, if you've read or watched that, where the woman is having this uneasy feeling about it, and the guy's like, oh, it's fine, like it's gonna be great or whatever. He is super understanding of her in the wheelchair with steps, but ultimately it's almost like his disappointment is rating off him so heavily that like she pressured and feels guilty to say yes to get this apartment. So they confirm that they're going to be at this apartment, and just eerie stuff just starts happening. And it's almost just like she's trying to tell her husband, he's kind of like brushing it off. And it's not exactly like Rosemary's Baby, because like I feel like the guy is going through it too and trying to figure out like what's going on, and he has his own struggles going on that he's like not telling her. So it's kind of like Rosemary's Baby because he's like keeping secrets, and there's a lot going on. Now the baby's acting weird, and the baby's become very, very fussy, and there's just been really weird things going on. There's also this lady that they've like started talking to, and the dad is kind of like, I guess, working for her. And I wanted to mention her because her name is Camilla, and it's so close to Carmilla that I feel like it's kind of a take on like the first vampire. Anyways, I'm enjoying it. I feel like Nat Cassidy is just going to become a favorite of mine, and this is making me realize that I need to do 3 books by Nat Cassidy because I want to reread Mary. I feel like that is a book that upon reread, it would go from a 4 to a 5-star. So I kind of want to reread that and maybe do 3 books by him with this, that. The hard part is I don't know how many books he has out. I want to say, yeah, he has a short story or a novella coming out in October called Rest Stop. So maybe it'll be a good time too. I know next April is when The Wolf Comes Home comes out, and I'm excited about that. I've also really wanted to read Dark Matter, or Human Monsters, a horror anthology. Dark Matter Presents is the thing for it. But anyways, the editor is Sadie Hartman, you know, Mother Horror. And then, oh, and Ashley Sawyers. I've got to get to that one too. Oh, I have so many on my to-do list. Anyways, this is just really making me see how much I love his writing though and stuff. I just absolutely love the vibes of this. It's so dark and, you know, almost gothic while not being, but it's just so eerie, and you just really don't know what to expect. And he's almost doing it in like a Salem's Lot, which Salem's Lot was referenced in this, but he's almost doing it like in a Salem's Lot way, to where you're really not gonna know it's a vampire until like that bang, or you know, the clues start adding up, and again, just kind of like Rosemary's Baby, where it's like the clues have to like add up to get to somewhere. I don't know. I'm really enjoying myself, but I am going to bed now since my skincare is done. But I thought I would check in, and I'm hoping to finish this tomorrow. editing alley here because I completely forgot. I don't even know where my brain was at. I feel like all I can say is that we are currently moving as I am like editing this, and everything was kind of up in the air during this readathon. We were looking at houses, we were starting to pack things up and kind of just waiting on the, okay, you're good to go and move type of ordeal. So my brain has just been scattered, but I never updated you guys on Nestlings. I literally talked about it, how I was liking it, the vibes of it, and then the next day I went to see Beetlejuice, finished the book, and then the next day I'm like, today I'm starting, and I never even told you guys what I thought about Nestlings. It was a 5-star, absolutely loved it. I feel like maybe I didn't talk too much on it because I thought that I already reviewed it, because I feel like in the last clip I talked so much about it. Yes, it gives Salem lots like eerie, like sinking feeling of like that doom sinking almost throughout it. It also has that Rosemary Baby vibes, and all of those things continue throughout, but even the ending I felt like was such a nice touch to it. Like I just really enjoyed it. I'm a big Nat Cassidy fan, I have to say. I'm really enjoying his work, and this one I just ate up. It's probably gonna be one of my top contenders for the year of favorite books because it was so good. I enjoyed it so much. And I just felt like I had to include a little clip of that because I can't believe I did it then. Hello, you guys. I wanted to check in for this video because I tried to the other day in my car, but upon reviewing the footage, I was like, it was terrible. I was in parent pickup line and I was early that day, so I was literally in like the 2 lanes where there's cars right next to each other. So I had somebody in front of me, someone behind me, and somebody on this side of me, so I was like awkwardly like trying to film, you know, like that. Bad angles. Anyways, so I thought I would take the time today to sit down and tell you guys because I did in fact read another vampire book, and this is the reread that I think I mentioned in the intro of this video that I wanted to get to again. I read this last year or the year before and I landed at a 4-star with it. I had a lot of mixed emotions about it. It was so hyped and I understood why. The writing is absolutely beautiful. S.T. Gibson like really paints a picture for a gothic story. It's so beautifully done, and from the scenery to the characters, everything about it, I absolutely love the writing style. And so I was really falling for it when I was reading it. I think what startled me and was a little jarring for me was the polygamous relationships. I don't read a whole lot of books. This might have actually been my first that like, sure, I've picked up a book here and there, there's like a love triangle, but like that's the extent of it. I never really seek out polygamous books. I didn't really know what to expect with this one, and I'm a very open-minded person, you know? Polygamy is not for me, so I feel like I would typically probably not read polygamy romance books and stuff like that, but this is a vampire book, so it feels different because I feel like older gothic vampire tales are, or sometimes do, dabble into the polygamy element in books and movies. Stuff like that in general. With that understanding of that, I thought that I would be able to breeze through it better than what I did. And I think this time around was a lot better for me going into it with the understanding of knowing it was coming, and each time somebody is introduced, I'm not like surprised, you know, like I know it's coming. And I just once again really enjoyed her writing style, how she describes everything. It's such a beautiful gothic novel, but I think I have figured out what was so jarring to me, or why the polygamy element was so jarring to me in the first book, or the first time I read it, and I think it's the fact that it doesn't seem like all parties in this polygamous relationship are happy. Like, I'm not even obviously towards the buildup at the end, but even the beginning and throughout. And the whole point of this book is this toxic relationship. This is like a reimagined tale of Dracula and his brides. It's about desire and obsession and emancipation. And so you go into it with that knowledge that there's a buildup to the end. But I think the first time around, just jumping into it and having like this polygamy going on, and then on top of that, like just being so confused on why they're doing this lifestyle when it just kind of seems like nobody is really okay with this lifestyle, was really hard for me. But upon reread, I've enjoyed it so much more. I think knowing what to expect, I think this is a book that if you are kind of uncertain about the first read through, definitely pick it up again. I sat down in one night and just read through this entire thing for my reread, and it was so enjoyable and definitely is different. It's not your typical vampire story. It's not your typical gothic tale in general. I'm telling you, you'll be blown away by her writing style. I found myself really enjoying aspects of the different characters. This is kind of told in two different parts. So we start with Constanza, I feel like I'm saying that wrong, who is badly injured and is pretty much dying, and is saved by this Dracula character who takes her under his wing, and it's just kind of like she leaves her whole past, her whole world behind to travel with him. And Magdalena? Is that her name? Who ends up being the second bride. And those elements of jealousy and being obsessed with each other, and not just that, but also seeing this like hypocritical desire that Dracula has to have both of them know, and have that cruelty to him to know that like one of them is not okay with this. But then seeing the women's relationship bloom is so beautiful that at the same time I love it. And then later on we have Alexei, who is a young actor, and he is brought into the mix, and then you start to fall for him too, because all their personalities are so different, but like so charming in a way, and you really root for the trio who are now Dracula's brides. Alexei is a little bit more stubborn, so he comes in at the third part or third act of this book, because he's kind of like the ticking bomb of like how this is gonna all implode. And it's such a good gothic vampire tale that I had to read it for this video. And now upon reread, a year or two later, I'm at a 5-star. I really, really love it. And I just bought S.T. Gibson's An Education in Malice this year, and I still have not read it. So I'm making it a priority, and that is the book I'm going to be reading next for this video. I have heard that it is not a sequel, although it's almost like a continuation. And apparently there is like some stuff that would be spoiled if you don't read this before you read that one. I don't know. Anyways, I wanted to reread this in general, so that's what I did. And now I'm so excited for her next one.
Someone has been messing with us ever since we got here, right? It's got to be some kind of trick.
I don't know anyone that could pull off a trick like that. Do you? Holy water. Please let me guys. Oh, that's a good one, but it's 3:30 in the fucking morning.
Shut the fuck up!
No, don't. We got a real fucking situation here. Fucking go. It's just time.
And to wrap up this video, I have my final thoughts on An Education of Malice. I was super torn by this one, but I will say I absolutely loved that I included it in this video, because this is a true Carmilla retelling that, as a retelling, was really, really good. It has a lot of the modern things to it, although even myself reading Carmilla, I gathered that there was this chemistry between the two characters that made it a female love interest going on that I absolutely loved. And I was like, I seen it too. But with this modern take on it, we have that representation, and I really did enjoy that. I like that she took it there with this, but there was definitely some unsettling things. S.T. Gibson is always great at putting a little author note with trigger warnings and stuff like that of what you're about to get yourself into, which is great because she does look out for her readers. And so I knew a little bit what to expect getting into this. It takes place in Massachusetts. It is like an all-girls school, and we have Laura Sheridan, which is so cool because of the name tribute to the author of Carmilla. And she is our main character that we're following, who starts having the eyes for Carmilla. And these two girls are kind of like this on-again, off-again situation where it's like they're liking each other, but they're also like so competitive. And in the end, they're both trying to wow their teacher. I liked the dark gothic vibes of this one that I felt like holds true with A Dowry of Blood and other books by S.T. Gibson, but I did feel in some senses it did feel a little YA until we got to spicy moments. But I felt like for me, I didn't have as much of an attachment with Laura or Carmilla like I did with reading the original Carmilla, and that's why I feel like it fell off a little bit for me. But I love S.T. Gibson's writing so much. I love her sense of gothic writing, and I loved the dark academia and all of that within this book. So beautifully done. The vampire aspects of it, I loved. I loved the dark parts, the horror bits. So much of this was so good. There was just some things to it that felt off for me, and I feel like I've tried simmering on it. I've tried thinking about it because I'm just like, what do I tell you? And I'm just not sure, but I would say this is a high 4-star. I don't think that this is better than A Dowry of Blood. I did love the little character moment we had going on where we had some characters pop in from A Dowry of Blood, or maybe just character, but I thought that that was really cool. I do agree with people that this is kind of a continuation because it's in like the same, I guess, realm, world or whatever, but nothing is spoiled for A Dowry of Blood if you read this one first. But I definitely recommend Dowry of Blood, and who knows, I just reread A Dowry of Blood, loved it even more than the first read, so maybe I'll let this one sit for a little bit and I'll pick it back up and try it again, and who knows, it could fly up to a 5-star. Either way, it is a high 4-star. I'm definitely going to keep S.T. Gibson on my radar. But I will say I just seen that her book next year coming out is supposed to be, I think, like a gothic romantasy, and it's like erotica, and I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that. But I just love her gothic writing so much. It's so beautiful, and what a way to wrap up the video. Let me know if there's any vampire books that just blew you away, because I do have an idea and a concept for a video in the future because I just have so many more vampire books I want to get to. So there may be another vlog kind of like this one, but I have another idea around the corner that I want to try out and do so I can fit in some more of my vampire reads. But yeah, if there's any that really stick out to you, whether I've read them or not, just leave them down below if you don't know, and I'll let you know, and maybe include some in future videos. But thank you guys so much for watching this vlog. I really appreciate it. It's, at this point, been ongoing for months, but I am so glad I got to all of these vampire books. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.